Welcome everybody on board. It's 12 o'clock Eastern here in both Harrisburg and Ann Arbor. Um, if there are other people in the car right now, if you could just give me a quick mic check, if you can hear me okay. Andy will also get you a quick mic check before we get started.
Good afternoon, Will. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Good correction from the morning there.
It just changed.
Awesome. It looks like we are good on the audio front. Welcome, everybody. A lot to learn today. Here at 12:01, we will go ahead and get started. So without further ado, I am Will Gordon, Senior Director of Marketing here at Nutshell. Joined alongside me is our CEO and co-founder, Andy Fowler. And of course, as advertised, we are going to talk about Nutshell's 2026 roadmap today. Andy, anything you want to get into before we jump into the slide deck?
I'll just say these are some of the most exciting webcasts we do. I always love sort of taking the covers off of a new feature, but this is a chance to kind of look a little bit farther down the road. And I think we've got some exciting things in the works and hopefully some things that connect with a lot of what our customers are looking for today. So it should be fun.
Cool. Couldn't agree more. So let's go ahead and dive in. As a reminder, if you signed up for this webinar, whether you're here now or not, or you have to leave early, this webinar recording will show up in your email inbox. It'll come from Demio, our webcast provider here. If you don't see it, check your spam folder. If you still don't see it, you might have unsubscribed from their emails. In a couple of days, go ahead and check out our websites under our webinars and guided tours section. We try to upload all webinars and presentation materials there for you to download as well. And as always, you can check us out on YouTube. We upload all of our webinar videos there as well, so you can subscribe so you can be updated for any video upload to our YouTube channel. What we'll be covering today, a quick overview. I think our timing increments are wrong here, but a quick overview of what we launched in 2025 inside the Nutshell app. Andy will talk about the humble beginnings of Nutshell and the evolutions of where we are going as a CRM. And of course, how that evolution impacts our 2026 roadmap here. And of course, we'll save some time for some Q&A at the end. Feel free to ask your questions in the chat throughout the webinar. I will have some time as Andy will be doing most of the talking. If there's anything that's above my pay grade, I will make sure to softball it up to Andy at the end of the webinar for our Q&A session there as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into what we launched last year in 2025. So you can see a big list. The product team was very busy. I think probably their busiest year yet at the Nutshell headquarters. But anything you want to dive in specifically and highlight from our 2025 product launches?
Yeah, it was a big year for us, and I think as you can see from the spread of bullets here on the screen, we grew our product team as well. So a lot of new faces here in Ann Arbor, fresh designers, engineers helping us to make some progress here. I put in bold a couple of my favorites. I think that are seeing a lot of traction from our customers. First, at the beginning of the year, we launched Nutshell Quotes, and in July, we followed it up with Nutshell Invoices. So a lot of our customers use tools like PandaDoc or QuickBooks to produce what we call sales documents. If you're a team that wants something simple and is completely integrated into the CRM, Nutshell Quotes and Nutshell Invoices are a really great way. With a click of the button, you can take a lead, turn it into a document, track it being sent to your prospects, track when they open it, and ultimately hopefully track when quotes are accepted and invoices are paid. We've priced that really competitively, and we're seeing a lot of traction in that product and some ideas in the works to improve that. I highlighted the Google Meet integration, but that's really sort of one of a whole family of note takers that we launched last year. We added this for Zoom, for Microsoft Teams, for 5 different phone integrations. This is a whole family of features which basically take the phone calls that you're having, the G Meets, the Zooms, any kind of conversation that you're having with your prospect digitally. Nutshell will log that conversation automatically, turn it into a summary, and then I'll actually be sharing in the roadmap some more of the things that we're going to be doing with those integrations. But ultimately, we know the most boring and worst part of a CRM is needing to log your activity. Any integration that we can build that saves you and prevents you from needing to log those activities is a big time savings. We launched our chatbot in September. This is a tool that you can add to your website. And if you want to just check this out, it's included for all Nutshell accounts, and you can get a preview of it with, I think it's all of 3 clicks to preview how the Nutshell chatbot might look on your website. It trains itself based on the content on your website, and then it has conversations with your website visitors to answer their questions, but ultimately to generate leads from the visitors on your site. And because it's from Nutshell, those conversations and the leads that they generate are directly brought into Nutshell. We use this on nutshell.com, and we've seen some great traction from our customers here. Final thing I'll highlight is our one-click email campaign builder. Every week, Nutshell sends millions of email campaigns on behalf of our customers, but we know the biggest barrier to entry there, it's just staring at the sort of empty page to craft your first email marketing campaign. We've got a great AI tool that lets you provide a URL on your website, a couple of notes on content, and gives you a great starting point for an email marketing campaign. So those are some of the things that were most exciting last year and would highlight here.
And I'll just chime in on the one-click email campaign builder there. As the leader of the marketing team, we use our email marketing tools quite frequently. And I would say even when we know exactly what we want to say and exactly how we want to build it, it can still take 45 minutes to 90 minutes to create that email broadcast. I tried it out as soon as we launched it, and it took me 45 seconds. Now, it was not perfect, but I was able to fix the rest of it up in 5 minutes. So when we talk about 5.5 minutes versus an hour and a half, that was quite the time savings, and I was very happy with that specific feature. All right, so before we get into the roadmap for 2026, I know for those who've been with us for a while or joined last year, we like to go through just like the founding of Nutshell, why we started as the easy-to-use CRM, but really the evolution of where we're trying to go with how Nutshell is going to help our customers with all of our CRM tools, our marketing tools, and engagement tools. So Andy, I'll throw it back to you to kind of say where we're going from a business perspective.
Yeah, thanks, Will. I think every new Nutsheller that joins, or pretty much every call that I hop on with one of our customers, I describe sort of the 3 pillars of why we started Nutshell in the first place. The first is design. When we looked at the market and saw the current state of CRM back in, date us all here, 2010, when we first got started, we knew that design was absolutely key to building a great product that actually provided value. For something that's clunky, difficult to use, where you just feel the friction as you're using it, we knew that a well-designed product was absolutely essential. It's not an icing on the cake. Design is a core must-have. That was pillar number 1. Pillar number 2 is sales automation. We had this view that every company has a sales process. Some companies have it written down. Some people have it on a PowerPoint or a little sort of a Kanban board, but every company has a sales process for how a lead shows in the door, how you build a relationship, build an understanding of your prospect, and ultimately win that business. And what a CRM should help you do is document, follow, and automate that process. The vision there is that your worst sales rep is as good as your best sales rep, because they've been trained on this process, and the CRM helps move that along. So sales automation being the second pillar here. And the third pillar in 2010 was a bit revolutionary. Now it's kind of table stakes, but in 2010, we launched with an iPhone application, followed it up a couple months later with an Android application. We saw mobile being really essential to the CRM experience. And really what was at the core of that is your CRM should work where you work. So if you're spending time in the field, it's on your iPhone. If you're spending time in your inbox, it's in your inbox. If you're spending time in Gmeet or Zoom, your CRM needs to be there as well. And so those 3 items were kind of the pillars that we had in mind when we launched Nutshell. As we think about our place in the industry and how we evolve and continue to serve our customers, what we kind of realized was at the heart of all 3 of those is saving time. Design, sales automation, working where you work, those are all about saving time of the input of data into the CRM, the reviewing of reports, so you can actually spend your time on what matters, building relationships, and ultimately closing business. So how we're sort of viewing the lens that we're viewing our roadmap through is, what are the things that our customers need, and how can we save them the most time? And the exciting thing about our industry right now, of course, is AI, and that's unlocking incredible amounts of opportunity that we can deliver to our customers to do things that we never could have dreamed of. And I think we'll even give an example of that as a live demo on the call here today. But that's where we're headed, and I hope that what you'll see in this roadmap is all of these things that we have on the horizon are ultimately designed to save you time, and we'll let our customers be the judge of that and share feedback on where we can improve. So let's move on from there, Will.
Awesome, Andy. Thanks for sharing that vision. And before we get into the roadmap, I know the product team was hard at work towards the end of 2025, rolling out a few more things to get us a head start into 2026 on that time-saving effort. But would you like to dive into any of these things from our Debs-giving?
Yeah, I'll confess I forced Will to add this slide to the deck here, but I wanted to share this as a little emblem of how our product team operates and the things that fire them up. We took off 3 days around just before Thanksgiving holiday here in the U.S. and built something we called Debs-giving, where we talked to our support team, we talked to our sales team, our advisors team, and surveyed what are the frustrating rough edges, the things that are costing people time in our product that just to frustrate them on a day-to-day basis. And our team pushed aside everything else that was going on and built this, collection of, smoothed out this collection of rough edges in a nutshell. And I'm not going to run through all of these. I'll maybe just give an example here of, some of our customers were experiencing timelines that were loading slowly. And our team said, okay, there's nothing that's costing you time more than just like staring at a loading screen in the CRM. So in certain types of cases, the timeline might be taking 10 seconds. Team figured out what was going on there. Now it loads in 200 milliseconds. And that's just an example of everything that we looked at this sort of Debs-giving event. And that's just really one microcosm of how we're thinking about, how we can make Nutshell better. These little examples of saving, small bits of time on a daily basis make a really big difference. What we're going to talk about here in the roadmap are some of the sort of bigger boulders along the way.
Awesome. Now we can stop making people wait and we can officially get into our 2026 roadmap here. Andy, take it away again.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, first thing, if you're using Nutshell, and by the way, we're calling this a roadmap for 2026, but given that it's February 19th, some of these things have already launched or are kind of in beta, so I'll make a note of those. The Explore page is live here in Nutshell. So the Nutshell dashboard has a lot of great capabilities, helps you track your pipeline, leaderboards, understanding quota, lead volume. We often would, shim in a little update. Hey, here's something new in Nutshell, or here's an upcoming webcast on the dashboard. But we've built this new Explore page to kind of be a gateway to get the most out of Nutshell. We're featuring product updates, upcoming webcasts, and we've also got an area where you can leave a review for us, which we greatly appreciate, and also share your feedback. And I'll just say right here, it's kind of highlighted in the screenshot. I read every element of feedback that comes through our product here. They show up in a Slack channel. Our entire team sees those and really thrives on what's working and what's broken about Nutshell. So if you go to the Nutshell Explore page, you can share your feedback. We also have new little areas where we're gathering feedback throughout the product. But that's the Explore page, and we'll be promoting webcasts like this one throughout the year there.
Yeah, I think this would be a great place for customers to come. I know we obviously look at last year's everything that we launched inside the app, and we try to have at least one marketing-led webinar per month. It's a lot of notifications. We don't want to bother people while they're in the middle of their workflows inside Nutshell all the time. We have to sometimes. But now we have this one place where you can go kind of as a bulletin board to stay up to date of all the features that are live in Nutshell that you have available in your accounts and all the information that's available there with it. So the Explore page is just a great place to go for all new updates, whether it's informational or new features that you have in your account.
All right, next up is Nutshell AI. So this is probably the first time that we're sort of announcing a streamlining and improvement for how we are packaging and sharing all of Nutshell's AI capabilities. So late last year, we launched the in-app AI page. It is sort of a portal into Nutshell's AI capabilities to discover what your team's using and opportunities to get more out of Nutshell AI. But we've also streamlined how we are packaging our AI capabilities. And without wading too deep into the details here, we're including more of those for more plans starting, I guess, maybe 2 or 3 days ago, this rolled out. The short of it is AI assists are sort of the small day-to-day time savings that we provide that are just included unlimited with your plan. Think of this as you can transcribe a note. If you're leaving a note on a contact in Nutshell, you just hit the microphone button, speak to your computer, and we turn that into a note. Saving you, a minute or two of typing, but just streamlining your day. Another example might be a lead recap where we just sort of show you, hey, what's happened on this lead so far, what needs to happen next. It's just sort of there providing little assists to you throughout your day. Those are unlimited. We're going to be developing even more of those. And then next, we've sort of consolidated all of our AI usage into AI outcomes. So whether you are using Note Taker to summarize an activity or using our lead researcher to research a lead, we had some different sets of credits and different buckets of features that got a little bit complicated because we were sort of building them as we went. All of your sort of key time savings AI features are now bucketed into AI outcomes. And if you'd like, you can take a look at our pricing page to see what is included included on your plan. And those are also available in-app in the Nutshell AI homepage. You can see which of your team members are using those assists and outcomes and how you're progressing in what's included there. And of course, the bottom line is we're including more of that for all plans. All right, next one, something I'm really excited about. This is also live as of probably about a week ago. Although I'll say if you don't have, depending on how your iPhone is set up, you might need to go to the App Store and get it to make an update. But I think this is actually a perfect emblem of how we want time savings to work in the CRM. So say you've just met with a client in the field, you want to log the conversation, you want to log what happened. You don't want to type on that. You get in your car. All you need to do here is open up your iPhone, speak aloud to tell Nutshell what happened. You can mention the name of the person you met with. You can mention some of the details. And we take that transcript of your conversation and turn it into an activity. And it's probably a bad idea to try a live demo here, but I'm going to give it a shot just to kind of show you how easily we hope this is to do. Will hasn't seen me give this demo yet, so we hope this all goes off without a hitch. But here I am inside the Nutshell app. If you open up the add menu, you see there's a single log activity button. I open that up. You'll see there's a new voice, voice capture here. And without any further ado, I'm just going to hit start recording. And here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, I just met with Will Gordon about a project to improve his backyard pool. He's looking to get started in July. His budget's around $1 million. And I told him that I would follow up with a quote next Thursday. All right, I will pause here. And you can see that as I was typing, I'm not sure I was transcribing that live. Probably should have showed the screen the other way around. All I have to do is hit continue here. We noodle on it for a second. And now what I've got here is a meeting with Will Gordon. It shows that it just happened at 15 minutes ago. I have my notes here for the call, and with one more tap, I can log that activity. It's automatically attached to the right contact in Nutshell. Assuming I've got a lead open with Will, that activity is attached to that lead, and now you can move on to the next part of your day. Really excited about that capability. We actually had this capability, yes, and this is on both iPhone and Android as of today. We had this capability. This was included in 2011 when we launched our iPhone application. But at the time, literally all we did was record the audio recording of you talking. The tools out there just weren't great enough to actually do anything with that audio file. So it wasn't all that great to just have an activity with a big audio note attached to it. Now what we can actually deliver on is just interpreting what you said, setting the right times, the right contacts, the right leads, and attaching it all with just a tap there. So that's mobile activity logging, and that's live today.
Andy, if that project's going to cost me $1 million, I think we need to discuss salary.
Yeah. Well, looking forward to this August's pool party. All right. Last year, we rolled out an impressive new design for our lead pages that both streamlined what is shown on the lead page based on years of feedback from our customers, and maybe more importantly, introduced customization so that Nutshell isn't just a one-size-fits-all, set of fields and what's displayed on the page. That design refresh has been well received by our customers, and we've spent a lot of time refining and tuning that up, and we're bringing that to company and people pages. And not only will you have this sort of fresh widget-based design, but you'll be able to customize that as well and choose which custom fields your team cares about the most. Maybe there's certain custom fields that you want at the very top of the page that always need to be there, or others that need to be tucked away. You'll have the ability to do that. It also includes our new streamlined activity logging hover. So you can just type some notes, hit a button, and quickly log an activity on company and people pages. This project is nearing the end of the design phase, and it's looking really sharp, and I think it's going to save a lot of time, make Nutshell an easier product to browse. Mentioned this earlier, but in addition to Google and Zoom, we've rolled out 5 new phone integrations, and all of them are compatible with what we call Nutshell Note Taker. So whether you use RingCentral or Kixi or Dialpad or AirCall or CallRail, when you hang up a phone call with one of those platforms, in a matter of seconds, that phone call will be added to Nutshell, attached to the right contact, and a summary of what you had to say and how that call went will be attached to the lead. So, our vision for this, just like the sort of phone transcription, is you don't need to do the busy work to log your conversations. You have the call with your prospect. you hang up and you move on to the next one. And this is live with these 5 phone providers today. We also support that same capability with click to call. So if you're using a phone provider that isn't one of these 5, you can make outbound calls with Nutshell. If you're on Nutshell Pro and above, and those outbound calls that you make through Nutshell will automatically be summarized. And to answer Tay's question, yes, we also support Microsoft Teams in there too.
Yeah, so that would be, I know Monica asked earlier what 5 or what phone integrations we would recommend. I would say these would be the 5. Click to call, of course, if you'd like to use your own number and you're on Nutshell Pro and above. And then Annie kind of mentioned them in our 2025 features and launches, but this is supported with Microsoft Teams, Google Meets, and Zoom as well.
All right, now building off of that note taker, right now we summarize those conversations and tell you what happened, and we make a little note of some of the action items that were discussed. But what we're actually building next here is automatically crafting tasks from the action items that we hear. So think of this as I just logged that conversation with Will, and I told him that I was going to send him a quote next Wednesday. What Nutshell will do here is create a task that's due next Wednesday that tells me to create that quote. So we're detecting the action items inside of your conversations, turning those into tasks, and automatically adding them to the right leads and contacts inside of Nutshell. And, like all of our AI capabilities, we want our customers to be in the driver's seat here. We're going to make it really easy if Nutshell gets it wrong to give us feedback on that, to skip over that task if we happen to pull aside the wrong thing. But we think this is going to help really automate some of the things that slip through the cracks in a typical phone call. Lead Researcher, this just went live, I think 2 days ago. And we're excited about how this makes Nutshell a better tool to help qualify and connect with your leads. So it's kind of 2 sides to this. First, when you're looking at a lead in Nutshell, we can generate a research report that kind of gives you an overview of a company, their profile, the industry that they're in, locations, team size, some of the basic firmographics here. But what is even more powerful about this, and the reason I'm sort of zooming into this a little bit here, is it does take a tiny bit of work to get the most out of it. What you can see here is that our lead researcher has basically 2 fields that it collects. And what you can do here is you tell our lead researcher about your business, what it is that you sell, how you sell, and then you describe your ideal buyer. Is it a large firm? Is it a small firm? Is it a particular industry? Is it a particular sales cycle, a particular region? You give Nutshell the information about your business and your ideal buyer. And then what we do as you research a lead, we're going to tell you whether those attributes match the ideal fit for your business and put that into a little visual cue there. You can also choose which fields kind of matter most. Maybe you're a company that really cares about the industry of your prospects. You can put that in the front and center in the research report. Maybe you just really care about, is it B2B or B2C? And that's a part of the lead researcher as well here. To answer James' question there, this is available on the lead page today. If you go to customize your lead layout, you'll see that there, but by default, it should be at the top of the right-hand sidebar of the lead page.
And is this a feature that's only accessible to turn on or off or fill out these criteria by admins as well?
Yes, that's actually a good question. I believe so. Yes, I believe that the lead researcher is configured, only configurable by admins. And then, of course, customizing the lead page is something that's also done by admins. So if you want to turn on or off that component, that's done when you set up your lead layout, which there's a little layout button at the top right of the lead page that lets you choose which widgets make sense and in which order of your lead page.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, email digests. Again, we're talking roadmap here, but this launched about 3 weeks ago here. And these are 2 helpful tools for either the sales rep or the sales manager. So the user digest is designed for the sales rep who has leads assigned to them, and it gives you either a daily or a weekly report of what activities you have coming up today, what leads might be slipping through the cracks. Maybe there's something that's closing soon that you haven't followed up on, or something that's going cold. It's over a certain period of time and hasn't had any contact. And then for admins, we provide sort of a leaderboard of some of the best sales, which new leads are worth following up on, and then a little bit of a pipeline snapshot of what the current month's sales and forecast look like here. So these are delivered into your inbox. You can configure this under your settings, and then you'll look for the email digests link. And one more thing on top of that, you can see in the screenshot here, in the parts of the email digests that refer to specific leads, we're rolling out our sort of lead recaps and next actions. So for any lead that we're referring to, we kind of give you a 2-sentence recap of how the lead got here, what's happened so far, and then we suggest what the next step might be. And that's informed by the conversation. So again, if maybe the last thing that you heard from a prospect was a request for an estimate, we're going to see that request in the email timeline and analyze the text of that timeline and turn that into a suggested next action here. So you'll see those recaps and next actions inside of the weekly or daily email digest. All right, continuing with items recently launched. It's been a busy February for us here. We have added to our marketing suite page visit automations. The way that this works is you may have particular pages on your site that really matter. They might be high indicators of a well-qualified lead. They might be like a thank you page for a webcast sign up. It could be a sign-up form that you want to use to initiate a drip sequence. But what you can do is you can tell Nutshell exactly which pages on your site are relevant to you. And then when a visitor visits one of those pages, you can take some different automations. You might want to subscribe that visitor to a drip sequence based on maybe they visited your pricing page. Now it's time to send them sort of a high intent drip sequence. Or maybe you just want a notification. Maybe you want your sales team to be notified every time someone visits a particular page here. So you can set up a number of different automations that are all ultimately based on a visit to a particular URL. Of course, this is powered by the Nutshell tracking snippet, which also powers our chatbot. And so if you've already got the chatbot on your site, you can start using these marketing automations because you've got the tracking snippet on your site. If not, get that snippet added, and that powers the chatbot, marketing automations, and more.
So a very specific use case, if I could step in as the marketing person here. At the end of our webinars, we have the option to redirect you to any URL or page on our website that we would like to send you to. And we could just send you to one that's like, hey, thanks for joining the webinar. Hitting that page would allow me then, as the marketing leader, to send out an email drip sequence that could ask for marketing feedback or something along those lines. So like, it's really cool. It's if you're a lead inside Nutshell, you visit a page, you get a trigger, boom, you can do like that. Or say they're not a lead inside Nutshell, or they're not a customer inside Nutshell, and we just want to get a notification to our sales team that they joined the webinar. This could be a nice inclination or a nice trigger to the sales team to say, hey, we have this interested lead. Now would be a good time to follow up with that lead.
All right, I already mentioned that we launched our AI email campaign generator, and the short of it is it's had a ton of traction. We see, I think we're on the order of hundreds of campaigns being generated a day. And so we're investing to make that better. For one, you can't use it for newsletters or for drip sequences yet. So we're adding the ability to make a drip sequence or a newsletter edition from AI, but also just leveling up the design of the campaigns that are generated. So that means getting more imagery from your site. So when you generate a campaign, you give it the URL of your website or a blog post or a particular page of yours. So we pour more images from your site now, or we actually use AI generated designs to help fill in the blanks. So maybe you're promoting a particular event. You want it to look like have a particular look and feel to it. If you don't already have an image on your site for that event, we will design one for you and use that as a starting point. And our view on this is this isn't going to be 100% right, probably ever, but if it's 70% right or 80% right, and it gives you the jump start that you need to kind of tune that campaign, once the campaign has been generated by AI, you can use Nutshell's existing drag and drop tools and sort of visual editor to tune it up and get it ready to deliver to your audiences.
I think that's the key thing, and kind of what I pointed out too when we talked about the launch of this in 2025, Andy, is I still had a little bit of editing to do, but it did a lot of the groundwork for me and took away probably 90% of what it actually takes to put that together.
Exactly. All right, and we're bringing that same technology to landing pages. So today you can build landing pages in Nutshell. You can start with a blank page, or you can start with some of our templates. But just like creating an email campaign takes a lot of work, so does a landing page. And we're bringing that same kind of technology to landing pages that we have for email marketing campaigns. And our vision here is that a great landing page is very specific and targeted. And if you can make 10 of these in a month for a specific audience or a specific message or a specific event, you're going to be much more successful for it. So it might just be time constrained that you only have a single landing page today, but if AI can help you create 10 or 20 of these in a month that are very targeted for your particular needs, you're going to be much better served, and they're going to convert better. All right, we're also improving forms. So today you have the Nutshell Form Designer, where you can embed a form on your site. It can collect information and custom fields and ultimately generate a lead. You can also put a form into the Nutshell chatbot, and the chatbot can either have a conversation with a prospect or present a form to a visitor. But we want to make that a better experience, and we're doing that in two ways. For one, we want to be able to create multiple pages, because maybe what you collect for a commercial customer is different than when you collect for a residential customer, or maybe you want to collect more information from a more qualified lead. So you can sort of create different pages that will change based on the result of the form. And what we mean by progressive forms is this. You might have sent a form to a prospect and gotten some basic information like name and email address. Well, if you've decided that you're going to send them a follow-up form, today, when you send them another form, they still have to type in their name and email address again. And that feels really clumsy. And I know anytime I fill out a form and enter my email address, when the form was emailed to me, I just roll my eyes. So we're going to be making it better that if Nutshell already knows information about the visitor that is filling out a form, it's not going to re-ask them for information that's already known. So maybe some visitors, you know their name, you know their email address, those fields won't show up. For others, where it's already where you don't know it, will show those fields that you don't know. So it sort of lets you build up a profile of what you know about a particular prospect when you don't always have the same amount of information.
Yeah, and
All
actually, we'll go back one slide real quick. I know that we had 4 marketing slides in a row here. I just say, again, as the marketing leader and all we do to try to get information out there about Nutshell, I'm very excited about these 4 specific items, because I think they're going to allow our team to work a lot more efficiently to drive more leads to Nutshell.
Absolutely. All right, engagement report has launched. So this is built off of the Nutshell chatbot. If you've deployed the chatbot to your site, it can hold conversation with your prospects, it can have chats, but it can also collect phone calls, it can collect text messages, emails. You might use it to collect quote requests, or you might connect it to Scheduler if you're actually generating bookings and you want to turn a visitor into a specific booking on a sales rep's calendar. So there's a lot of ways that you can put the Nutshell engagement bar to work. And we wanted to give more ability to measure how it's performing. So we use a similar idea to the Nutshell sales funnel report, but we've crafted that specifically for the engagement bar. So you can kind of see in the screenshot here, you might have a certain number of visitors. How many of those visitors end up opening the engagement bar? And then what actions do they take? And then ultimately, how many of those turn into leads and turn into sales? And you might be able to use that to tune your messaging to steer toward the actions that are most likely to convert, and to see how the engagement bar is performing on your site. And this is live today. You can see that under the report section in Nutshell. All right, we're also further investing in the AI chatbot today. So like I mentioned, you can train it with basically a click. You give it your website's URL, it crawls your site, it understands what what you sell and how you sell, your product catalog, your ideal customer, and it uses that to answer questions for people coming to your site. And you can go today inside of Nutshell and see the individual conversations that the bot is having. But if you're like us, the bot is having more conversations than you have time to read. And so what the chatbot report is, it's providing insights on what questions are being asked. And it's providing insight on which topics are turning into good conversations and which topics are more challenging conversations. So maybe you're getting a lot of questions about pricing, but the bot is finding that people are frustrated when they don't get an answer on pricing because we don't have that information there. And what the chatbot is going to do is it's going to look at the conversations that have been had so far. It's going to rank them and give them sort of a sentiment score, and it's going to give you a report on how well the content the bot has been trained on is actually answering questions for your customers. In addition to this, we've also found that while most of our customers get great results with, I don't know, maybe 5 to 20 pages crawled on their site, other customers have deeper sets of knowledge on their websites, and we're building support to have deeper training of the chatbot. And what the chatbot report will do is let you know how well is the bot answering your questions and give you sort of suggestions on how you can improve it. Also, is a fun thing at the bottom, which we were already sort of testing out here internally, which just kind of calls out some interesting threads. So every once in a while, I'll give an example. There's a insurance provider in England called Nutshell. Maybe once a week, someone asks us for a quote on auto insurance, and those sort of interesting and oddball threads kind of make their way to the top thanks to the chatbot report.
Sweet. Those aren't qualified leads for Nutshell?
Not yet. Not until we expand to a very different industry. All right. I think this might be near the end here. And we're sorry, this stuff is very exciting to talk about, and our team's already been making a lot of great progress on a lot of these. But shared email inbox, I think our first request for this probably came weeks after we launched here. If you're a company that collects leads via a shared email inbox, which even Nutshell, even though we have forms on our site, and even though we have a trial process that people go through on our website, we still get sort of a warm inbound request to someone who just decides to email sales@nutshell.com. And often the way that works is it kind of lands in a collective sales rep's inbox, and whoever sees that message first grabs it and follows up. But that's no way to run a railroad. And so we're building a shared email inbox. So if you have a sales address at yourcompany.com, you can bring in those messages, organize them into a single inbox, and then divvy them out to the best sales team member that might be qualified to take those leads on. So it's a great way to sort of triage the leads that are coming in. I think we'll also find that a lot of industries are generating leads via email. I know a lot of real estate businesses, maybe you're getting leads through Zillow or something, they're still just coming in via email. So if you've got a lead channel that is ultimately bringing you leads via email, this is going to make it much easier for you to take those messages, turn them into leads, and assign them out to your team.
Awesome. We made it all the way through, so now it's back to my turn, Andy. Of course, we're always trying to build more into the product, make things more valuable for all of our customers here. It is hard to keep everyone up to date, but again, our Explore page was available for everybody inside Nutshell. Is going to be a valuable resource to go and check things out. We're also always updating our website under our product and enhancements page to show you what is coming or what has just recently launched in Nutshell. And then also you can sign up for our shipping news newsletter. It comes out once a month, and it's basically a recap of everything that we launched in the last 30 days inside of Nutshell. If you're looking to get started on anything that we mentioned today, you can check out our knowledge base. We have a comprehensive set of support articles to help you get started or answer some questions. You can also reach out to our support team via live chat in the app. If you use the live chat on our website, you're likely just going to be talking to our AI chatbot, but inside the app, you will get some real human support in there as well. And I mentioned at the beginning of the call, if you want early access to any of these features or to be part of any future beta release, you can email beta@nutshell.com to get on some of those lists. So we don't beta everything out, but of course, we'll always take on early adopters to try out some new features that we're launching inside of Nutshell. I see some questions about the recording the deck, so I'll get to those real quick before we get to some other Q&A. The recording of the webinar, Colleen, should be coming directly into your inbox from Demio. If not, check our site in a couple of days. You can find it under our guided tours and webinars. We try to upload both the presentation video and also the slide deck that we've used today. So the slide deck should be linked to the Demio video or the Demio email that comes out today as well. All right, we got some Q&A here. Andy, I copied down some questions from earlier on. I'll start with those so I can catch up to some of the last ones that were kind of entered in here. But Parth asked earlier on in the webinar, are there any plans to have a robust cadence builder they would like to mix in emails and dials into their cadence, into their sales cadence.
Yeah, I think I need to. I'd love Partha a little bit. If you're up for following up offline on that one a little bit. Nutshell Sales Automations tools do support this in a couple of different ways, where you can set up a series of automated tasks that might be, okay, you're going to make a phone call on day 1, and you're going to make a follow-up phone call attempt on day 3, and you're going to interconnect that with an email sequence which goes out on day 0 and day 2. So if I understand the request correctly, you can do that sort of by connecting automated steps and drip sequences. What I think you're maybe describing there is maybe a unified way of seeing how both the email sequence and the automated steps that the reps are doing connect together. I'm going to put on my thinking cap and think more about how we kind of connect those together. And if you got some more examples of what you'd like to see there and how, those dials and emails fit together, I'd love to hear it. But like I mentioned at the beginning, sales automation and helping you plan out what a sales process looks like, an outreach attempt looks like, that's in our DNA. We want to keep improving that.
Awesome. This question is from Jeff. Not sure how many Nutshell customers have a need for this, but while we use Nutshell primarily for tracking prospects and deals in the sales pipeline, we also use the leads process for service delivery processes. Does Nutshell have any plans to create a project management function, even in a light version?
That's another request that I think we first started to hear on sort of week 1 on the market. I think the short answer is not in the next 3 to 6 months. That said, I know many of our customers do already use leads as a de facto project management tool. And we have a couple of features that sort of support that. One of those is, say you use a lead as part of your sales process and you win a customer. You might have that in a sales pipeline. You can automate that when a lead is won in that pipeline, that a follow-up lead is created in, say, an account delivery pipeline, or maybe an account renewal or account management pipeline. So you can sort of automate the process that sale is closed and then immediately a new project begins to help deliver or manage or renew that contact. So a lot of our customers use leads for exactly that. As far as sort of the tuning for what it would take to make that even more of a project management tool, I'm all ears for how we can do that better, because a lot of our customers do that today. But that said, I don't consider Nutshell sort of a direct sort of task management tool for an overall project, but it does help with. Sorry, this is getting into the weeds here, but I often kind of think of leads as sort of project management with people, right? You are effectively managing a project, which is closing business, but the real thing that makes a lead different from any other project management tool is that it's about building that relationship. And so that's kind of how I sort of see the distinction between a lead and a project management tool. And I'd love more specifics on how we can help better on the project management side of that. I'll give one example of what is possible in a sales process. Say you have a delivery pipeline, which happens after the sale. You can assign different steps in the automation process to different teams. So you might have an operations team that has a series of tasks that they need to take on. You might have a delivery team that has a different set of tasks that they need to take on. And you can pre-assign those tasks so that every customer that you onboard has the same set of tasks assigned to the appropriate team for each lead.
Thank you. And I know Andy has mentioned, I think, to both questions so far, if you have more specifics for him. I know Andy's given out his email before, but it's just andy@nutshell.com. If he asked you for more specifics, take him up on the offer and shoot him an email about that information. Next question here from Ty. Can the lead researcher dig into past leads that are in their current Nutshell database that may be unqualified, lost, or need revival, like an organization feature?
That's a great request and something that our team is exploring. Right now, the lead researcher works on sort of a on-demand basis. So you open up a lead and you execute that lead research project. We've already heard from several customers that are looking for how do we sort of put that on autopilot. And I don't think I've heard yet on applying it retroactively to historic leads, but that completely makes sense. And you've got my wheels turning now. We have, of course, in our own customer database, tens of thousands of lost leads over time where we couldn't convince someone that Nutshell was the best CRM for them. And if we could put the lead researcher onto those and sort of unearth some of those opportunities, I think there's something to that. So you've got the wheels turning here.
Awesome. This question from Diane: are there any optimizations? And there were a couple people that also seconded and third this one. So Diane, etc. Are there any optimizations on the roadmap for drip sequences? It would be very helpful to have the ability to drag and drop emails to reorder them in a sequence. Another wish list item is to schedule emails in a drip sequence to deploy at a specific time and in a person's time zone. Editing capabilities in the drip sequence are currently limited. If a specific email is under forwarding, it's not easy to edit or update a subject line.
Yeah, I think every one of those is something that we've heard and are working to prioritize. I don't think we have anything, say, in the next month or two on that, but reordering sequences and modifying things like subjects are definitely bits of feedback that we've heard that we know we can improve on, as well as the sort of time zone capability and scheduling. So whether that means sending it just a week from now because that's the right time to follow up, or saying something should send in the prospect's time zone. Those are things that we've heard and are eager to put into motion here. So I think stay tuned for more on that. I think that's drip sequences are something that have seen a lot of adoption inside of Nutshell, and we'll be reinvesting more in that. I guess the two things I'll say that we have pushed forward on drip sequences recently, we kind of covered earlier, are one, you'll be able to use AI to generate additional messages in a drip sequence. And two, you can now launch them based on when a visitor views a particular page on your site. So that's one way of taking the drip sequence that you've got and automating the start of it.
Awesome. Last one I had pre-prepared for you, Andy. Glenda asked, does this, and she was referring to the chatbot, does chatbot work if you have multiple websites? I guess, can you use the same chatbot on multiple websites?
You can, but the plans that we have in the works to support larger content bases are probably going to be the key to unlocking that. So as of today, you can embed the chatbot on multiple websites, but we have some limitations around the amount of content that the chatbot is capable of responding to. So if you had two completely diverse websites, maybe you run a roofing business and an electrician business, probably won't get the best results out of two sort of fully unique content bases because they're currently blended together. We'll be investing in making that, as I already mentioned, the roadmap, making support for broader sets of content coming soon.
Awesome. And I think I got most of them in the chat here. The last one that came in here from James, is there a data capture function on Nutshell that we can use on our website, like a newsletter or a special offer? I think I would probably say Nutshell Forms, but I don't know if there's anything else you want to dive into further there.
No, I think Nutshell Form and Nutshell Chatbot are the best two tools for that. What we found and the sort of research we've done shows that the sort of chatbot UI really is one of the best ways to capture the attention of a visitor, right? You can put a form on your site, but if you use the chatbot and what we call it smart nudges, that's often the most the highest converting way of capturing information from a visitor. And all of those form fills, either through Nutshell Form or the chatbot, go directly into Nutshell.
Awesome. I guess a pricing question, or not a question, more of a comment come here. I'll give you the answer or the opportunity to provide some insight here. But AI features seem great, but the cost feels prohibitive at $59 per user per month. I know we just reworked some of this to make sure AI features were available for more plans. You mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, but maybe go into a little bit further detail on what is exactly available, and maybe not whole detail, but a little bit more.
Yeah, I think the first thing I'll say is just as of a day or two ago, we've updated our plan comparison table. So you can see this on your billing page inside of Nutshell, or if you just go to our public pricing page and hit the plan comparison, there's sort of a full, 60-line comparison that describes exactly what is in each one of our plans. The short answer is, it's not the short answer. The mid-length answer is our current business plan started as an AI-focused plan. And what, of course, we realized is AI capabilities are useful and needed at every tier. So from the time that we launched that to where we are now, we are including AI features at all tiers. There's a difference in the number of outcomes that you can receive per tier, but there's quite a few included in our Pro plan. So I would encourage you to check that out. That might actually be sufficient for what you're looking for. And Monica, we can follow up after this to see what might be missing there, because our goal is to make this accessible for businesses of all sizes, even at our foundation plan, which is sort of designed for brand new business, just getting started. Maybe you're a solopreneur. You just need to capture a couple of leads, follow up with a couple of those there. That gets you started with Nutshell. And even that includes access to our Nutshell note taker tools.
And then one last question that came in from Greta here. She loves the new, she likes, I won't say loves. She likes the new weekly admin digest. Is there any way that she's able to share this with the partners at her firm, or a way to add this report to be able to send to them? It sounds like, Greta, they might not be Nutshell users. So is there any way to get this to a non-Nutshell user, someone who doesn't have a login to Nutshell?
Yeah, I think something that's percolating up our request list, and my hunch is probably lands in the first half of the year here, is sort of emailable reports. So not only the digest, which are already emailable, but being able to use Nutshell's existing sales report or funnel report or new lead report, having those set up as an automatic email subscription. We hear that from a lot of customers, and we're exploring how we can do that. To be honest, the biggest hurdle here that we want to be cautious of is data privacy and security here. We want to make sure that if you've set up a report that's going to send information about your pipeline out, that you don't accidentally send that somewhere that it shouldn't end up. And so we want to make sure we design that in a way that is easy to get right and difficult to get wrong. But we've heard that from a number of customers and are prioritizing that. And I also just wanted to grab the mic a second, Christian. I saw, Will, I saw Christian's note on drip sequence reordering. I appreciate that kind of feedback, and we'll be taking that on. Truthfully, the limitations around drip sequences are probably more onerous than they need to be currently. When we originally built drip sequences, we were afraid of, well, what if someone modifies it in the middle, and maybe you reorder it, and then someone that was in the sequence gets it twice, right? Well, it was email number 2, now it's email number 4, but someone received it, now they get it a second time. We probably built more safeguards into place than we needed to, but that's maybe the reasoning behind some of the limitations that are in there right now. We wanted to make it, again, really clear what you are doing, and difficult to make an embarrassing mistake that might send the same message along. But we also have room to make that more flexible for our customers.
Appreciate you diving into that, Andy. Well, I think we got through all of the Q&A here. So with that being that, thank you everybody for joining. Again, you will get a recording of this webinar in your inbox. Should come from Demio, our webinar platform. If you don't find it, check our website in a couple of days, or go ahead and check our YouTube in a couple of days. We like to upload them there so you can rewatch this there as well.
Will, I like the feature request of putting this video on the Explore page. So you'll have to take that to the team and see what they think.
All right, we can see if we can do that. Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining. Andy, thank you for sharing your time here to go over our roadmap. For everyone out there watching this live or our recording, thank you very much, and happy nutshelling.